Now we're now we're going to get into why exactly has a Sinn Fein councillor, Stefan Cunty, has had his X account taken down after he busted a bunch of his mates to attack Cavan Belarusian Zenith Nazis.
So why the fuck have you got a fucking Israeli flag flying outside the ocean in County Cavan? Tell me that. What are you doing? Hey, from this head. This man just figured out this. Fuck you, Israel. Fuck No fascism in Cavan! No fascism!
Okay, apparently the sound there wasn't working, but as you can see, or as I would see it, they turned up to a party. They attacked someone, or they were, because they saw the Israeli flag, and the excuse given why they have the Israeli flag, because there was a guy from Israel there, and you can see the mob of Sinn Fein trying to attack Jewish-themed people for absolutely no reason, and it was completely illegal. My understanding that the group of people that they attacked were just a bunch of teenagers, 18 to 19, having some kind of goofy party. But whether someone is Israeli or Belarusian or whatever, you shouldn't be turning up to clubs and attacking people like that. That is absolutely scummy and very typical of Sinn Fein for those of us who remember the Troubles. So yeah, he was claiming that the people attending this party were Belarusian Zionist neo-Nazis. So Nazis tend not to be Zionists for the obvious reason that the Arabs were on side with the Nazis during World War II and the Holocaust. So where are you going to find a Zionist Nazi? So after he posted his mob attacking those people, people called the Sinn Fein headquarters, and he now has had his X account taken down, but he's still active on Facebook if you want to send him a message on that. like how big is the Belarusian neo-Nazi community in Cavan? Like, Sinn Fein are a complete and utter joke of a political party that we just cannot take seriously. And this is not the first time that they've been caught trying to hunt Jews this month, other than their general campaign against Jews and the fact that many members of the IRA collaborated with the Nazis during World War II. They were also going after Rachel Moiselle, who's a well-known Irish woman with Jewish heritage. She wrote a controversial article. I personally didn't like that article because I'm a traditionalist. But then a lot of people went after her online, and they were threatening her, and they were threatening her family, and she disappeared for social media. Now, elements of that case can't talk about because there is a legal case happening. But as it turns out, one of the X accounts, obviously a Sinn Fein supporting account that was involved, organising a Sinn Fein hate rally against the Jew. Again, it turns out that, or when I say it turns out, allegedly, according to some users, that this account is controlled by a famous Sinn Fein MP whose name I decided not to mention in the show because there's currently a legal case about this. But I know personally that the man in question is directly involved in terrorism, particularly an attack against an Irish National Party conference. I think that was about 2 years ago. Yeah, they turned up this. I'm a group of people I don't vote for. I'm not going to vote. I don't vote for the National Party, and I don't give them a preference vote. But I'm completely opposed to members of Sinn Fein or any far left group turning up to their conferences and throwing bottles, glass, and attacking with knives. And I think 15 people were injured in the attack. So Sinn Fein is still very much actively involved in terrorism. And could I get sued for defamation for saying that? I don't think so. So Lynn Boylan, unfortunately, is a MEP for Dublin. She was deported from Israel because she was, for connections with Hamas. Sinn Fein openly support Hamas. They celebrated the 7th of October massacre. And in her social media posts, you can see images of Hamas documents, of flags. So Sinn Fein politicians are in league with Hamas, whose stated goal is to wipe out the Jews. And in Ireland, Sinn Fein are organising mobs to harass Jews. I have personally witnessed members of Sinn Fein and people before profit chanting anti-Jewish and anti-Protestant slogans publicly in Dublin city centre. Sinn Fein is not a political party. They are in fact a criminal organisation that we need to get rid of. So, let me ask you this question. I haven't looked at the chat. Can anybody guess the number? Can anybody guess the number of members of Sinn Fein who have been involved in sexual violent crime or child abuse? That number would be 100. 100 members of Sinn Fein have been investigated for various sexual violent crimes, including rape, paedophilia, pornography, all sorts of things. And some of those cases are still going ahead, which is why we mention how many who are being investigated as opposed to who's actually being charged. So for example, former Sinn Fein Senator Niall O'Donnell was sending inappropriate and sexually aggressive messages to a 17-year-old party youth member, which is illegal. And he did receive a bit of support from the party. And then, of course, Michael McMonagall jailed for child sex offences. And quite famously, the IRA Council, allegedly Gerry Adams as well, quite famous for covering up sexual abuse cases in the 90s. I remember the end of the Troubles. I remember the racketeering, where members of Sinn Fein and the Provisional IRA would come into our neighbourhoods, taking money from people, and if you didn't give them money, they would accuse you of being a drug dealer and possibly burn your house down or chase you out. So that is in my living memory, and many people in the Republic of Ireland. This is one of the many reasons why people on the north side of Dublin refer Sinn Fein are traitors, and they are indeed traitors.